MOM Radio and the Pipe Bomb Radio Network present
Are you ready?
Not Your Mama's Radio Show with your host, former WWE superstar, Oscar.
Here we go. Bam, bang, boom. Here we go. Do it like this. You got to all know. Oscar, Mabel, and Mo. Chosen in the house. We're ready to go. Men on a mission over here. Do it like this. I'm a mission. You better have fear. Do it like this. We got your ignition. Who's in the house? It's men on a mission. Men on a mission. Yeah, men on a mission. In the house. Men on a mission. Show you what it's men on a mission.
And we're are we? Go ahead, Felix. Introduce us. Bring us in.
I'm sorry. And we are live now on Not Your Mama's Radio with your host, Oscar. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
All right, another week. How you doing, Felix?
Doing good, man. Just not really liking the summer heat, but hey, I know it's going to go away soon enough.
Not really liking the summer heat. Let me tell you something about where I am. If it wasn't 5 feet of snow outside, it was so cold outside that if you spend 5 minutes outside, you could have on 3 pairs of gloves. Your hand felt like it got slammed in a door real hard repeatedly.
Oh my.
And I mean, you had arthritic pain due to the cold. You actually thought you were frostbitten. It was that bad and brutal of a winter.
Wow.
So, I don't mind this desert heat that outside because it's making up to one of the. I mean, I actually felt like I was on the galactic end of Alaska.
Wow, that's cold.
I mean, it was like if you're in a desert, you see a mirage. It was so cold outside that, like Lewis Black said, it was so cold outside that I could not finish a single thought in my own head. I'd be like, yeah, I like the car, and I'd be like, damn it, it's cold. I mean, that's all you can do. It was just that cold all winter, so I'm welcoming the heat.
That's awesome. You know what, though? I mean, I actually am opposite. I would prefer the winter time. I mean, just because I guess I'm a polar bear naturally. I guess I got such warm body heat that I dig the winter time more than the summer.
Are you a member of a polar bear club or something? You strip butt naked and go into the freezing tundra lake and swim around with your buddies?
Well, I don't know about all that, but
it's a funny thing because you mentioned that we used to go up in Canada years ago when we were on tour in Canada, but we used to go like in the dead of winter. Where it was like a wind chill of 30 below zero, and we used to actually have our wrestling shows, in ice skating rinks. It was the biggest rib of all time. It was like you're coming in the cold, you're fighting the cold, you're not used to that kind of cold, that kind of snow, that kind of ice, and you're thinking that you're going to go into a venue and work up a sweat. But when you're going to wrestle at, it's like going to visit the North Pole and you're going to wrestle Santa's elves. It was really a rib. It was really something else back then.
I believe we are actually now joined by Miss Dreamy Mimi. How you doing, Mimi?
How you doing, Felix? I'm doing great.
That's great. Welcome. Another fun Thursday night with your hosts, Oscar and Mimi. All right.
Yeah, welcome, Mimi. It's been a week. How you been?
Been pretty good. How have you been?
I've been fine. It's good. It's always good to talk to you. My goodness, I've missed you.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Let's get down to business. My guest tonight later on is going to be Lance Anoa'i. Lance is, this guy comes from an incredible wrestling family. His father is Sammy the Great Samu Anoa'i, who was part of the Head Shrinkers, legend in the business, part of one of the toughest tag teams ever to be a tag team, with him and Fatu, who later on became Rikishi, the Head Shrinkers, and whose grandfather, Sammy's father, is Afa, who was part of the Wild Samoans with Sika, one of the World Tag Team WWF champions back in the 80s. I mean, this guy comes from a legendary, fantastic family. We expect to hear great things from him. We're going to ask him about, and I want to ask him about, I mean, this guy has got so many wrestling legends in his family that if it was a family picnic, a family reunion, I mean, the park will be taken up by people that are famous wrestlers that you've seen on TV. It's incredible. We're going to ask him about that. We're going to ask him, does that make pressure on him to be great? We're going to ask him what he wants to do in the future, what he's doing now. So it's going to be a great interview with Lance. And I've got a couple of great stories to share with him that his father probably never told him about life on the road because I spent a lot of time with his dad. And I'm going to tell you, Felix, I'm not going to spoil it now. His father has one of the greatest road stories, not just in wrestlers, but probably in entertainment. So you got to remind me because you're going to want to hear this story. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So I can't wait to talk to Lance.
Forward to it.
All right, first, now people often ask me. I've gotten emails and messages and people ask me that have listened to this show and know about it. They said, Oscar, why do you spend so much time just talking about the WWE? Don't you care about TNA? Don't you care about Ring of Honor? Don't you care about all the indie promotions out there? And the answer is no. No, not for real. It's not that I don't care about them, but I do have an answer. The answer is this. The WWE, see, I understand them. I understand the psychology, having spent a little bit of time being a part of the business. So I can speak more intelligently about them, about the business, about the product, or what's going on, more intelligently than I can about TNA or Ring of Honor. I don't understand where they're going. I don't understand about their psychology. I haven't worked there. I don't really know those guys. I mean, some of the guys that I do know are guys that have come from WWE and migrated over. So, but there's not a whole lot. And I don't understand, I don't know Dixie Carter. I just don't know nothing about him. And if I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you asked me to name 7 Ring of Honor guys, I'd be just as broke leaving the show as I am now because I know nothing. But I do have my reasons why I don't talk about these indie promotions. And I got 3 fast reasons. I'm going to tell you the first one. The first one is, I started out mentoring a promotion here called Fire Pro Wrestling. Great group of guys, and who's created and led by one of the sweetest guys that I know, a guy named Pastor Bob. But I'm not too fond of the gentleman who really books the show, and I'm going to tell you why. Nice guy, well-intentioned. They're out here in Northwest Indiana, actually about 5 minutes from my house, and they draw about 100 people every month. And, all the wrestlers are pretty decent workers. They do really well. But if I'm going to mentor a program and you sit down with me and you ask my opinion, maybe you might want to take my advice every now and then because every month, and Mimi, you've seen it enough to know, every month it's the same thing over and over again. What do you think about that? Do you agree or disagree, Mimi, because you've seen it?
Yeah, the program is definitely the same every month. So, I mean,
and the guys.
And just to let you guys know that we have Mo on the air now with us. Mo, are you there?
Yeah, you guys keep my seat warm or what?
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah, we got you. We got your seat warm.
Okay.
I'm glad you're here.
How you doing, Mo?
I'm good. Just making sure y'all had a hot water bottle in my seat. I don't like a cold chair.
All right, got you. It's hot enough how you gonna have a cold chair that's hot as hell outside? And I know if it's hot here in Indiana, out there where you at, it's got to be burning up.
Hey, it's about 93 degrees today, but I'm sitting on the toilet, so I just needed a warm seat when I got off of this thing.
I was just telling Mimi the same thing. Isn't it great that we live in a day and age where you don't have to be in a studio and have headphones on and work a bunch of equipment? We're in the day and age where you actually can do radio a radio show from the comfort of your toilet. You could be taking a number 2 and on the air at the same time. God bless technology. I'm sitting down right now in my boxes. I'm like the guy in that in that commercial where he's trying to get the little puppet.
Home loan.
Yeah, he's trying to get a home loan, and he's doing it in his boxes, and the guy's in a suit, and then the guy winds up in his boxes too. That's the life. And if we get paid for this show, this is gonna be the life. The only thing missing is a check. When we get that, we all gonna be butt naked at home, on the toilet, in the shower, in the bath, cooking. At home, making love, doing this show. So if you hear little funny sounds, we gonna be just multitasking.
Excuse my courtesy flush.
All right, go ahead. All right, back to what I was saying about Indy. So the guy is drawing, 100 a month, but he's running the same show every week. But the guy's attitude, he think he's Triple H. So I can't talk to nobody like that. And then the second reason is, okay, what indie show do you talk about? If I talk about the WWF, and by WWF I mean the Willacoochee, Georgia Wrestling Federation, who in Cleveland is going to care?
Wow.
Right.
And then the third one, and Mo, you can back me up on this. Mo had a seminar a couple of months ago that we all attended and we all ran in Tennessee, and this means a lot to me because it was the last time that I actually saw Mabel Nelson Frazier alive at this event, so it means a lot. But the point is, this is the indie spin that went on it. When we were actually talking to the guys, and we had Bret Hart there, we had Sonny there, it was a fantastic event. But we were talking to the guys, and when the guys gave feedback, one of the guys said something that will haunt me for the rest of my life that I'll never forget. He said that his aspiration was never to be in WWE, never to be in TNA, never to be in Ring of Honor. He said he attended the seminar because he wanted to be the best indie wrestler he could be. That's all he wanted to do. That's as far as he wanted to go. And I just looked at him like, I cannot believe you think that, and I really can't believe you said that out loud for anybody else to hear but you. You remember that, Mo?
Yeah, but let me play devil's advocate on this too, okay?
You always do.
Well, because I tell the truth, I don't sugarcoat it, even if it makes you mad, Oscar. So I'm going to be the devil's advocate on this. And if you want to get mad, that's fine. Kiss me, it'll make you feel better. But anyway, one thing that the guy didn't say in front of everybody else, honestly, is that the guy did the seminar because he wanted to meet men on a mission. He didn't want to say that, but that's the only reason he spent $125 to do that seminar is because he wanted to meet men on a mission. There's nothing wrong with not having aspirations of going to WWE or TNA. I swear to you, if I knew what I knew then, if I knew the way it was going to be as an indie wrestler, I would have never taken a job with WWE. It's not worth it, man. When you think of the headache, the travel, no amount of money, man, is worth. Think about it. For 1 second, Austin. Just close your mouth, close your eyes, hold your breath, try not to die while we're on the air, and just think about all the stuff you went through and ask yourself one question: was it worth it?
But okay, I understand that, and you make a good point. But I guess my question is, if your aspiration is not to get to the top of the game, get to the top promotion, make that kind of money, then what are you doing it for? What are you risking? Breaking your neck, breaking your leg,
because
the
it's
sweat.
something he loves to do.
Right. That, and Oscar, when I first got into wrestling, I didn't get into wrestling because I had aspirations of being like Ric Flair and going to WCW. And I had recently applied for membership into a local Masonic lodge. This is at a time I had just gotten out of the military, and my whole thing is I've always wanted to be a part of something that's recognizable. So when I die, people say, yeah, this guy did this or this guy did that. That's always been my dream. So when I die, people got something positive to say about something I did in my life. So I was at an indie show. There was an opportunity to get into wrestling school. I said, well, I won't be Ric Flair, but people around here, people in my neighborhood, my neck of the woods will say, yeah, I remember that guy. He used to wrestle. And that was all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted to hear from somebody is that guy used to wrestle. And that might be that guy. That might be exactly what that guy wants. You know, there's nothing wrong.
If I'm not mistaken, Mo/Sir Mo, Bobby Horn, I think you achieved that big time by what you did do. When you die, 30 years from now, they're going to be able to go back to somewhere and say, damn it, look at what the hell he did. They would not be able to say that if you was on if you was a part of some indie promotion in Dothan, Alabama, and that's all you did every week. You were at, let me quote you something you said back in 1996 when you and I ran SCW with Southern Extreme Wrestling with an iron hand. I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the cream. Now, you can't say you regret being able to say that or doing it. You helped create what we have as a legacy.
Don't misunderstand me. I don't say I regret anything. I'm just saying that kid, his biggest dream was to meet men on a mission. Coming to that seminar was the chance to do that. Just because he don't have, not to mention Austin. Come on now, the guy was 5'7", about 215 pounds. Honestly, do you think he's got a chance to go to WWE this day and time? No. He was being realistic. There's nothing wrong with being realistic and being honest with yourself. He knows what he's capable of doing. He knows that he's not going to...
And not even just being realistic. That's not everybody's dream or aspiration. People are different.
Of course.
Oscar, wasn't your dream to be in the WWE, period.
Right. And I mean, my dream ain't to be like John Holmes, though I would have liked to have experienced some of the things he experienced, but those wasn't my dream. That wasn't my aspiration. You know, or Ron Jeremy, but anyway, you know, I mean, you can't knock the man because that's not his goal, Austin.
Okay, well, let me ask the both of y'all something since y'all such agree on everything. What's your dream now, Mo?
What is my dream now?
Yeah, what's your dream now? I really want to know this.
You know, man, I mean, the biggest thing that I got on my mind and my plate right now is to see my daughter graduate from Simpson University. That's it.
That's admirable.
If I live long enough to see that, if I live long enough to see that, then I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish in my life. That's it.
That's a hell of a dream and it's real sweet. But that's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you what's her dream or your dream for her. I said, what's your dream? Oh.
Was that not my dream? My dream was to see my daughter graduate from Clemson University.
Yeah, no. That's your dream for your daughter. I'll ask you again because I got 2 whole hours. What is your dream for you?
Oh, for me.
Thank you.
Listen. Oh. You know, I dream of running a small independent organization covering about 3 states, running about 3 events a week with regional TV coverage. You know, and drawing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 people a night. You know, making some real money, being in control of everything, so I can push myself like the superstar that I am, so I can win every belt and be called the junior heavyweight champion, the heavyweight champion, the women's champion, the flyweight champion. I just want to be the promoter champion of the world.
Oh, so you want to be a black Triple H? You want to be a black douchebag covering 3 states?
A black douchebag, man. Douche is kind of harsh, man. You know, douchebag is kind of harsh, man. You know, you talking about something that goes up a funky ass. That's not me. Don't call me a douchebag, man. Not on the radio.
What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? I'm 500 miles away. I know you can beat me up, but we're on the phone.
Call me a dirty condom or something. Don't call me a douchebag, man.
Okay, I got you. Okay. All right.
Fat
All right,
bastard.
since we're talking about dreams, what's your dream, Mimi? Since we're talking about dreams.
She's trying to wake up from that. She's trying to wake up from that dream of getting married to you. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to wake up from that nightmare.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be that's a long dream she's gonna be having, bro. So
Just dream.
I feed her super pills every night.
Oh my goodness. Y'all
Anyway.
My dream has nothing to do. Oh, that's okay. It's nothing to do with wrestling. I want to open a non-for-profit to help kids that come out of foster care to transition into real life.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's very noble.
All right. What's your dream, Felix?
Well, I would say I would have to be what I'm doing now and running a successful radio station that actually could make a profit.
Well, good.
All right. Well, hang in there. We gonna hang in there. We're gonna try and make these shows that you and I got the best they can be, and maybe we can actually make a buck. Maybe we can actually make a living. We're gonna stay on the air as long as we can, and we're gonna see where this thing takes us.
Oscar.
What?
That's enough brown noser, man. We got other things to talk about.
Oh yes, we do. Okay, shifting gears. This is the next thing. This is the next thing on the plate before Lance joins us. Now, last week, Mo, you're gonna love this. We're gonna have to teeter-totter a little bit. So
don't remind me last week. I didn't get to talk about Natalia last week, man.
Okay, but all right, be careful. Shut up. Be careful, because we're gonna teeter-totter. Last week on Legends House, the last Thursday episode.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
There was a startling revelation that came out that shocked the world when they had a roundtable discussion. Pat Patterson, and for those that don't know who Pat Patterson is, Pat Patterson for years was the man at WWE, the man at WWF, vice president, second in command, who a lot of people think Vince McMahon called all the shots, but it really was Pat Patterson that decided a lot of policy and a lot of things that went on. Anyway, Pat Patterson came out and said for the last 40, 50 years of his life, he'd been keeping a secret that he was gay. And everybody sat around the table and they were flabbergasted, like shocked, like crying and saying, wow, and their eyes were wide open. And I've got to tell you that when the Daytime Emmy nominees come out, everybody at that table needs to be nominated.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold up.
Yeah.
Was that in the script?
It had to be, because let me tell y'all something. This is something new. Everybody in wrestling knew that Pat Patterson did everything to show that he didn't. Everybody knew he was gay. He did everything short of wearing a purple spandex suit with a pink boa in a wrestling ring float at the Macy's Gay Parade singing YMCA. Are you kidding me?
Well,
he did dress in drag for a WWE show.
What?
Who didn't know? There are more people out there that don't know that we landed a man on the moon years ago that didn't know Pat Patterson is gay.
That's true.
Okay.
Now,
it made for some good drama.
Oh, it made for some great drama. But you're looking at it, I'm like, how the hell did y'all react? I should have been at that table. I'd have been like, well, Pat, that day you were tickling me in the locker room. That's when I kind of figured it out.
Right. Hey.
Yeah.
We won't call no names on this because I'm trying to get a job with this guy. But you remember Ocean City, Maryland, on the rooftop of that building?
Yeah, and I remember a week later he became the United States champion.
One day with him, and then the next day he was the Intercontinental champion.
Oh yeah, the very next day.
You remember that, right?
Oh yeah, I remember. There was an intimate conversation with just the two of them, and then the very next night, out the clear blue, he come with the belt. I'm like, oh, that's how we get things better around here.
Can't do that right now. Gotta finish this.
Felix,
I'm here.
Any questions?
I'm sure.
Any questions about? We're very careful how we answer things around here. But any questions about that? Because it was a lot of stock and trade going on, huh?
I did want to bring to your attention that I do have a friend of yours who's calling in. Her name is Elizabeth.
Elizabeth's calling in?
She is. Should I bring her on?
Okay. Well, Peaches is on the phone. Yeah, put her through.
All right. You're on the air now with Mo and Oscar and Mimi.
Hey, Oscar. Hey, Mimi.
Oh, my God. It's Peaches. Wait. We gotta do this properly. Ladies and gentlemen, straight out of Portage, Indiana, is my good friend, Peaches. Peaches, welcome to the show. What's up?
Hey, I just had a quick question. You made this huge commentary about Pat Patterson being gay. Yeah. First of all, even though he was gay, that I feel like that was absolutely obsolete regarding his brand and his image. Yeah, he may have been flamboyant and boisterous and the whole 9 yards, and everybody could have possibly guessed that he was gay, but how does that change his image? How did it change his, you know what I'm saying? How did it change anything?
No, you know, the
why was that a big,
oh
my God moment?
No, you know, we laugh and joke about it, but you raise a good point and a good question. It really doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't. We live in a day and age where things are just more accepted than another. It doesn't really change nothing, because whether he was gay or not, Pat Patterson did a lot to revolutionize the business. He helped shape the product into what it was. Very instrumental in the billions of dollars that it made. He whipped us all into shape, and he actually made the product. And you know what? I'm beginning to look at gay people now that I'm more mature in a more mature light. And by that, I mean, number one, you know, gays are, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Gays are they might be flamboyant, they might be this, that, and the other, but a lot of them are very neat. They're very stylish, very meticulous. That's why they had that show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. You had gays actually showing straight men how to shape their image to get a woman. And a gay guy on a lot of levels, they could decorate the hell of an apartment. Women can decorate, but I put a gay guy up against a woman in a minute, and they'll do it for the job.
Anyway, back to Pat Patterson. Anyway, regardless of what his sexual orientation was, Pat Patterson was still a wrestler's wrestler.
Oh,
you know, he still conducted business like a wrestler would conduct business. You know, in front of the scenes, behind the scenes, or whatever. I laugh and I joke, but I have nothing but the utmost respect for the guy. He knew what he knew his thing. He knew his business. You know, he was very creative. You know, and he knew what sold. He knew what made money, and that's why he held the position he held for so long.
That's right.
Sexual orientation was, and I'm sure prior to let's call a spade a spade. Legends House was filmed almost 2 years ago. It wasn't like that was filmed last week. You know what I mean? Yeah. That show's been sitting in the box while they've been waiting to launch the network. So it's not nothing new. You know what I mean? So let's not talk about it like this just came out yesterday, and because it didn't, it's not, but it's not a shocker. It's not nasty. It's not nothing to be down about. I love Pat Patterson. It's just that, people that didn't know, and even the guys that did know, the way they sold the product actually got the product over. And that in itself shows you why those guys are where they are today, because they knew how to get the product over. Whatever it was, whatever they were told to do, they knew how to get it over. They've done it for 30, 40, 50 years. Those guys have been doing it. Everybody on that show, my hat's off to them. I commend them. They're all true legends to me.
Then, in all fairness, I have another way to look at it, and I joke about it, like I said, and everything like that. Their reaction may not have been like, well, we didn't know you were gay. Their reaction could have been that he chose that time and on that program to admit it. That's another way I really look at it.
I can see that.
So, yeah. Any other questions while you're on the phone, Peaches? I'm glad you called.
Yeah, one other question. You asked everybody on your panel what their dreams are. You never said what your next dream is.
My next dream?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really easy. My next dream is to make my wife happy because her happiness means everything to me. I mean, I'm even working a job that I'm not going to say I hate it, but I tolerate it because I'm a regular person now, working a regular 9 to 5 that I'm not used to, making minimal money. But I love my wife. I want her to pay bills. I want her to be able to take it easy. You know, she's been through a lot, and I want to do everything I can on my part to make her life easier. But I do want to come up. I do want to get back to that financial status that we were in, put her in that big house and show her how I used to live because I got that vim and vigor. So the point is to make her really, really, really happy.
Aw, that's sweet.
And my dream for you is for you to celebrate your new marriage and to celebrate that baby you got coming and for you to be all right because that's my dream for you. You've been wanting a baby for so long, and I'm saying it publicly. Now you're on your way to having one, and I can't wait for you to raise little hosting Greggy Carson to the best of your ability.
That ain't never gonna happen, Captain.
Huh?
You said Ricky Ricardo?
Yeah, that's one of my best friends. She gonna name the baby. She gonna put my name in the baby.
He allowed the truth ain't it'll never happen.
Hosting Greggy Aloysius Carson. Go ahead and say it with me.
Never gonna happen, Captain.
Oh well, I can try, can't I?
Oscar, I just want to let you know that we have our guest calling in here. I have him momentarily on hold, but he is definitely awaiting whenever you want to bring him on.
All right. So here we go. We are going to bring our guest on. Peaches, you're more than willing to hang out. Mimi, we're going to do the WWE report right after this interview and talk about the product, what's going on in WWE right after the interview. But I want to introduce son of Sammy, Samu the head shrinker, Anoa'i, grandson of Alpha, the wild Samoan. This guy has got a great family. He's a fantastic talent. He's got big shoes to fill. Welcome to the program, Lance Anoa'i. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
All right. We are doing fantastic, and we are honored and glad that you called in to talk to us tonight, my man.
No problem. Just got done killing some wings down at wing night, so now I'm ready to cook.
Okay. All right. Yeah. How many wings did you put away? I was trying to see if you can eat like your father.
I can't eat like my father. I only put away about 18 wings.
18 wings? Yeah. See. Yeah. That's pretty good. You're a big cat, so yeah.
I went to an all-I-can-eat lobster fest, but they said I did pretty good to keep up with my father on that one. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, my first question, Lance, this is the first thing I want you to do. I want you, for all of us here and everybody listening, I want you to road map your entire famous family for me. I know that Samu is your father. I know that Alpha is your father, but I'm confused. There's Yoko in your family. You got Rikishi in your family. I think The Rock is in there somewhere. Give us a do an ancestry.com for us and tell us everybody in the family and how they're all connected.
Oh man, that's a big family.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of time.
Well, like you said, Alpha's my grandfather, Samu's my father, Rikishi is actually my cousin, my second cousin. The Usos are my third cousins. Roman Reigns, also a cousin. The Rock, second cousin. Yokozuna, cousin. Manu is my uncle. Who else is it? I can't. Umaga. Also another cousin. Who I can't. I forgot who I named. I named how many already.
Did you name Manny? Did you name Manny?
Matt?
Manny.
Oh yeah, that's also my cousin.
Okay.
So if you guys had a family reunion at Central Park, the whole thing would just be the whole thing would just be wrestlers. You guys would just cover the whole park, huh?
That's correct. Shoot, man, when we have a family reunion, we got to order like 400 pounds of chicken.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, I believe, and that's just for the names that you mentioned.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Okay, my next question. I have this saying about a lot of talent, be it the Usos, be it like Natalya, being like Charlotte, whomever. A lot of people being grandfathered in, and by grandfathered in, I mean that they're able to get a door into the business and in, for lack of a better term, because of their lineage, because of their heritage. Do you find that your wrestling career is climbing a lot smoother than a guy that doesn't have those kind of connections?
I wouldn't know which way to go with that. I feel like I have the connections. My family done a lot in this business. In the past 40 years, there's always been a Samoan or part of my family in the WWE. There hasn't been 1 year without. And I think all of us work just as hard as anybody else. We deserve, okay, just because who my family is don't mean I deserve a contract. I got to work hard to get that contract. I got to do what they want me to do. So I think I have the end, but I also have to work for that end.
Now, what are the things that I've noticed? And I'm not saying this because you're on the phone and I'm talking to you. One of the things that I'm proud of when it comes to your family is this. Alpha and Sika worked hard when they were the Wild Samoans, one of the hardest working tag teams in the business. Having dealt with the head shrinkers personally on the roster during that time when we all were there, that was the toughest, hardest working, biggest work ethic tag team that there was. Yokozuna, same thing. And watching your cousins, the Usos on there, they put in just that equally amount of work. Now, being that the case for you, do you find that you have a bigger pair of shoes to fill when you get your shot, or when you wrestle every night? Does that kind of does that bother you at all, or does that push you harder?
It just pushes me harder because obviously I just want to be exact. I want to show them that I deserve that. I could be just like them, or I could be bigger, or who knows. I think my grandfather, he set the path. My father did, and it is huge shoes to fill. But I think right now I'm doing pretty well. I'm 22 years old, wrestling up and down the East Coast. I'm actually going to California for the first time in 2 weeks to wrestle. So it is big shoes, but I definitely think I could do it. And when I'm out there every day wrestling, it is just a little bit pressure. Okay, what are we going to expect out of this guy? I go out and I bust my ass every single time. So.
Okay, let me step in on this question, Lance. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good.
Good. This is
How about
Mo.
You?
On Oscar's previous question, you were talking about working up and down the East Coast, and then that you're going to California in a few weeks. Oscar's previous question, I'm not sure if you quite understood what he was asking, but let's just say that you're not Lance Anoa'i, okay?
Okay.
Do you think opportunities that you've had so far, and getting all the bookings and even the booking that's going on in California, do you think if you were just Joe shit the redneck somebody that had a pretty decent look, but didn't have no kind of connection, do you think that you would be getting the same amount of bookings that you're getting now? And not to really necessarily get into the money part of it, but do you think that guy would be looked upon and being treated the same way as you're being treated now, as far as when you get booked and the places that you're getting booked and the amount of money that you're offered to come and do shows?
Well, the amount of money, obviously I get what I get because of basically who my family is, I want to say. But if I was just some person, I think I would be able to get just as many bookings as I have now as myself, just because how much work I put in that ring, and I give 110% every time I'm in the ring, and I work hard, and I think I would be able to get just as many bookings. I think the money-wise will be different.
Right.
But other than that, I think I would have the same opportunity to travel just because how hard I worked in the ring.
That's a good solid. That's a good solid answer. So in essence, it's the family name is one thing, but it's all the hard work and effort that you put into it that makes the difference as well. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. See, a lot of young guys don't understand that. They just want to sit at home and maybe make one or two YouTube videos or send out some pictures and hope that they get a booking other than their local Saturday night same show gig. They're not traveling from town to town, city to city, putting in the miles. You broke your leg. You were out for a while, and just this past week you broke your nose. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I'm still going out working hard. I'm not stopping. Nothing's stopping me. So I broke my leg. I came back 2 weeks early, and I started wrestling again.
Well, that's what we do. That's you can't just because you have a setback, you can't sit at home and twiddle your thumbs and whine and cry because I hurt my elbow or I hurt my shoulder. That's the guys that make it, the guys that survive it, the guys that make it to the top are the ones that go through that and continue to push on. And that's what you need to continue to do.
And I will. I'll just keep pushing forward. Don't let nothing get in my way. Nothing gonna stop me.
Good deal. Good deal. So I have another question. Because I remember when you was just a little kid running around with your little long ponytail, and I used to slap you in your head and tell you to get on somewhere, kid. And
I remember that. I remember when he was little too.
He was just all over the place. Him and Yoko's little boy, and what was his little girl name? Nala. What was her name? Yoko's little girl. Yeah.
Lonnie.
And y'all used to run around all the time. I remember. And I used to think to myself, man, what's it like? What's it like having Sammy as a daddy? And was Sammy hard, or was Sammy, when you did something wrong, did he lay it into you, or was he more of a talkative type dad?
He'll lay it into us. He made sure we learned right away. Made sure we never make that mistake again.
I'm sure, because I don't know if I ever told you this, but we were working a show in Israel, and Keisha was mad because Nelson went back to the dressing room because he fell out in the lobby. And Keisha didn't get to work that night, so me and Sammy had to work a singles match, and Sammy had to put me over. That was the first time he'd ever done that the whole time we'd been working. But out in the middle of the ring, we was doing this one spot. I think I was doing a sunset flip from the outside in, but before I could do it, he slapped me so hard, he burst my left eardrum, man. I had blood running out my ear. I was like, wow. But, I love those guys, man. Learned a ton from them. I wish that when we were there, we had known more. We had been smarter. We were there after only being in the business 3 years, man, and we didn't know a whole lot. I mean, one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was we were sitting in the dressing room, and we were going over the finish, and we were Fatu was gonna win with the splash, and Nelson was like, He's like, man, you kicking out at 3, man. Kick out right at 3. Man, you don't kick out anybody. You don't kick out anybody's finish. You just lay dead, you know. And dummy me not knowing, I kicked out. So, you know, that just didn't go over well. That didn't go over. No, that didn't go over well. You know, and you know, as I've gotten older, I've yet to see Sammy in person. I've seen Junior 100 times, but I've yet to see Sammy in person. I've yet to see your grandfather in person. So when you get to see them, you take this message to them from me, okay? You say, who was Mo on the radio today? And, you know, he let me know that in 1994, in that match where he kicked out Fatu's splash, that it was just a pure sign of immaturity, of not knowing any better, and that I sincerely apologize and didn't mean any disrespect. Take that to your grandfather for me, please, sir.
I definitely will.
Hey, Lance? Lance?
Yes.
Before you go, I have got to tell you that your
I was just
father...
about to remind you, Oscar.
Huh?
I was just about to remind Oscar right now about that story he wanted to tell.
Oh, yeah, Lance. Your father has one of the funniest legendary road stories ever in the history of anybody who ever packed a bag and went on the road to entertain. Would you like to hear it?
Oh, I would love to hear it. I might have heard it, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, stop me if you heard this one, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. We were overseas, and I want to say maybe England, London. I can't remember exactly the town. Your father calls on a hotel phone, and he makes an international call to his wife at the time to say, I love you, good night, kiss Lance, kiss the kids, whatever. The next day, when he goes to check out, he has a phone bill of over $400, maybe 400 pounds even. And at that time, the pound was $2, you know, to every dollar. So it might have been 800, but it was in the hundreds, and it was an expensive thing, and he didn't know why. He argued with the people and everything like that, but I guess they resolved the financial part of it. But that's what happened. Do you know why he had a big phone bill? I mean, let's see if you heard the story.
I haven't heard this one.
Okay, he had a big phone bill because after he said goodnight to his wife, I'm imagining your mother at the time, I'm thinking. I don't know, ask her.
Yeah.
When he failed to hang up the phone, and when he didn't hang up the phone, she was listening as there were sex sounds coming out of his room. I mean, like 2 people in the room actually doing it. And she listened. I don't know how long she listened. I don't know how long it was for, how long the phone stayed off the hook, but this is what she heard. So when she confronted him about it, he told her, you know, I was watching a porno, and, you know, that's what happened and everything like that. I mean, I guess it took a while for her to believe him, but I guess they patched that up. But that's what she heard, and that's what she listened to for hours and hours and hours. Now, okay, if that's your story and you stick it to it, I have a couple of questions of my own. Okay, if you were watching a porno, and I can believe that's what happened, it happens. We were lonely in the room. Some of us are into that, and that's okay. But in the porno, some girl said, oh, Sammy, you're a Samoan god?
Wow.
In the porno, he says, come here, let me show you a Samoan drop. And my favorite part, the sound of a frog splash being done on the bed. I want to know what porno this was, because I mean, she was like, she was like, your thing is bigger than King Kamehameha. I mean, all kinds of Samoan references in this porno, and I'm like, well, how'd you explain that?
Damn.
So anyway, yeah. When you get a chance, say, Dad, would you tell me that story about the phone call overseas? I really want to get to the bottom of it. And you call back and tell me what he said.
I'm definitely asking him that one as soon as I get back home.
Yeah, please. You got it.
Make sure you tell him that came from Oscar. I have nothing to do with that. So when he send the good, I have to put.
Yeah, you make sure. Yeah. You make sure I tell him, and tell him that I'm getting back at him for a lot. He'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you tell them about how you put the sleeper hold on me at a bar on that same overseas trip. I always wanted to get them back for that.
Hey, what about the time? What about the time they beat you with that paddle in Florida and made your rear end bleed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for my birthday. That was the birthday I got from Sammy and the boys. They beat me with a paddle. Yeah, that's how I celebrated my 30th birthday.
Well, Lance, we've been watching you. We'll continue to watch you, and pray for a world of success for you. And we'll be looking for that long-awaited WWE debut. Okay.
Okay. I'm praying it comes, man.
And Lance, looking forward to seeing
you
in August. Looking forward to seeing you in August in Tennessee at the Bully Awareness event. You okay?
Oh yeah, I'm ready for that show.
All right. Thanks for calling, Lance.
Take care, bro.
All right, you too. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we expect a lot of great things from that young man. What do you think, Mo?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I met him before in February in a show there in New York, and the kid's got a ton of talent. The best thing about that kid is, man, he's got that Samoan heritage and everything, but he has zero ego.
Good.
He is grounded. He has zero ego. He doesn't walk around the locker room like he should be the top dog. He's Samoan. Nobody better not mess with him. That kind of. He's a good kid. He's bright. He's talented, man. And I think he'll go far.
All right. Well, good. All right. Shifting gears. It is now time for the WWE report. All things WWE. Let's find out what's going on currently. Dreamy, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. And
hit it.
Before I do the WWE report this week, I'm going to make a correction. In last week's report, I did the spoiler alert, and I said that Jey Uso would be going up against Luke Harper, but he actually went up against Eric Rowan and lost. Just wanted to clear that up.
What, you got one wrong?
This is your WWE report for the week of June 15, 2014.
I love it when she does that. She ignores me. I'm sorry, go ahead.
She's good.
Last week, Blockbuster. This week, Critical. The announcement from the Authority that there will be a battle royal. The winner gets a slot in the upcoming pay-per-view. And the last slot to be determined by a stretcher match against John Cena and the Demon Kane. With the Authority out of the building, Roman Reigns got Vicky Guerrero to put him in the battle royal and came out on top. Cena also pulled out a win over Kane. The power couple won't be pleased to see that Reigns and Cena have earned the last two spots in the Money in the Bank title match. As we may all not be ready to believe in Bo Dallas, are we ready to believe in Seth Rollins? Since his depart from the Shield, he has been instrumental in causing quite a bit of grief for his ex-partners, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. At every turn, with interference from Rollins, they have not been looking quite like the dominant force they once were. Rollins in a match with Dolph Ziggler could not pull out a win because Dean Ambrose intervenes. And in turnabout, Ambrose in his match with Bad News Barrett got distracted by Rollins and resulted in a countout. Round and round, where it stops, nobody knows. Bray Wyatt, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Sheamus, Cesaro, and Alberto Del Rio are all participants in the Money in the Bank Championship title match. We will see a champion crowned at the pay-per-view. And it seems Funk has slowed his roll. In a win over Paige in a non-title match, Naomi came out with the win. But shockingly, her tag team partner, Cameron, attacked Paige. As Paige retaliated, Naomi stood by and did nothing. Could the Funkadactyls be extinct? Stay tuned. Spoiler alert. Tomorrow night's SmackDown, the main event will be a 3-on-4 handicap match. Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Sheamus versus Cesaro, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and Alberto Del Rio. Result, Cena, Reigns, and Sheamus win. Money in the Bank airs June 29th from Boston, Massachusetts. This WWE report was brought to you by Freeman Foot Care of Gary, Indiana. 219-972-9000. I'm Dream Mimi for MOM Radio, not your mama's radio show.
Another spoiler alert. You know, I don't even watch SmackDown no more because you tell us what's going to happen.
We already know how you feel about it. Get over it.
Well, okay. My first question to you while you're on a roll, how did you feel about this week's Monday Night Raw?
How did I feel about this week's Monday?
Yeah.
Well, I felt like it was a mess. I said that I think they rushed putting it together or they just threw it together. The matches weren't great. It was a mess. The skits, the script, it was just terrible to me.
Yeah,
really?
how about Stephanie throwing up on Vicky Guerrero over the top?
Yeah, that was a mess.
Oh, okay. So we're getting violent vulgar on a PG program.
Ugh.
Yeah, how about
Yeah,
that?
it was disgusting.
And that stretching match with Kane, not one of John Cena's greatest moments. I don't know.
No, that match was terrible. I mean, I don't even know why they even put that in there. It didn't look. I mean, it didn't look believable. It was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Okay, Felix, you saw Monday Night Raw. How do you rate the program this past Monday?
Well, to be quite honest, I thought that it was just really kind of disrespectful, the treatment of Vicky. I know many people are not really high on her, but I love her to death. I know that she continued on and has still continued to make Eddie very proud in her years since Eddie passed. The treatment of her sometimes, she kind of gets put in predicaments, but she's such a pro at it. She'll go in there and just do what she's asked of. I don't care for the puking. I think that was a little bit over the top. The overall show, I have to agree with Mimi. It did seem kind of thrown together kind of quickly. For the matches that I saw were good. Some were good, some were not. The main event should have been the Battle Royal, in my opinion. But, it is what it is.
You do realize Vicky's leaving, correct?
Yeah, I've heard she is definitely looking about leaving for a little while to get things together for stuff she has outside the business that she's doing.
Yeah, she's leaving. Sometimes
I actually love Vicky. Vicky's awesome.
Sometimes people on the outside don't when you see things it may upset us, offend us, or we think, well, man, they're not treating this person right. They're not treating this person right. Sometimes, man, when you see somebody getting treated a certain way, like say Sandow, somebody's been pissed off. You don't piss somebody off. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say, okay, yeah, what's up with that, Mo?
Yeah.
I just asked Oscar that the other night. I'm like, what is the purpose of that?
Well, he's pissed somebody off, and that's what they do. When you piss somebody off, you got one or two choices. I mean, here's the deal. We'll take you back to 1996. The curtain call at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Triple H did the curtain call at Madison Square Garden with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Chuck White? You remember that, the curtain call?
Absolutely.
No, explain that to those of us that don't remember or know what you're talking about. Tell us what happened, guys.
Well, in Madison Square Garden, last event that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall worked prior to going to WCW.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the show, they did the curtain call. They had the heels and the baby faces, all members of the clique, in the ring at one time, saying goodbye to each other. They totally broke kayfabe that night with the curtain call. That's why they called the curtain call. They were saying goodbye. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were saying goodbye, and they were going to WCW.
Right.
Well, from that time, from that time that Triple H did that curtain call, they buried him on TV for damn near 2 years.
Wow.
As payback for doing that. As payback for doing that. Got my keys? They buried him on TV. I mean, so
I remember the hog pin matches.
Sandow's not the only person that's ever been through that. Triple H, he had to go through that. 'Cause think about it like this: Triple H went through that. He got buried, and Triple H didn't start his rise to the top until they stuck him with Shawn Michaels and DX.
Okay.
Think about it. They buried him. Look, remember, Ultimate Warrior beat him in like 13 seconds at pay-per-view?
All right.
WrestleMania 12, I remember that.
Yup. They buried him. But, I mean, it happened to him. It happened to me. It happened to Davey Boy Smith. It's happened to so many different guys. It's not nothing new. It's a common practice. Dolph Ziggler. Why is he? How do you go from getting the world's heavyweight champion to just on the program? You know,
right? Yeah.
Being a job guy.
You piss somebody off, either with your mouth, with your ego, or something. But you piss somebody off, and so once you piss them off, there's only two places you can go. You can go home, or you can stay there and work and get buried every night.
Now, does it speak to a level of disrespect on a corporate level when Vince singles people out for his Kiss Your Ass Club, and then in tandem with that, what they actually did to Vicky the other night? I mean, isn't that, from a corporate standpoint, isn't that like bullying? Isn't that just them taking their power and just going too far?
Of course it is. Of course it is. Years ago, before you gotta realize now, since they become a publicly traded company, how much of that have you seen really go on openly?
Yeah, not a whole hell of a lot.
You don't see no more kiss your ass clubs and none of that stuff.
Right.
It's because they have to answer to people now. Before, they didn't have to answer to anybody. It was a privately owned company, now it's a publicly traded company, which means they have to answer to so many people, not just the other owners, the other stockholders, but they have to answer to the stock exchange. They have to answer to Congress now, buddy, when they do certain things. Seriously. You know?
Because of that, do you actually see if there's a way to do it, and I'm believing there is, do you see Vince taking steps to reverse that decision to try to privatize the company again so he can run rampant and do the things he want to do? Because when we were there, Vince there was no committee, there was nobody to answer to. The buck stopped with Vince. Vince decided everything. It was Vince. So don't you think he wants to get that power back?
Vince, other than, being PC, politically correct, Vince hasn't given up any power, man. He's still the majority owner. He's still the guy that says yay or nay on everything that goes on television. Trust me, there's nothing that goes on television that Vince don't say, okay, run with it. He says yes or no to everything. Everything. The only thing that he don't say yes or no to is what goes on in NXT in Florida. He took hands off there and let Triple H control that. But anything that goes on Raw, anything that goes on SmackDown, he says yes or no. It goes on. Period. He walked away from it like that. He's not giving up that much of his power.
Yeah, this is something that I want to know, and I know it's probably a long answer, and I know you love these long answers because you like to hear yourself talk. But here's something I really want to know that's been puzzling me. Now, I have seen on Total Divas, like you got, it was Brie Bella and Nikki Bella's mother. She was backstage. Cameron had a boyfriend backstage and everything else. That kind of thing didn't go on when we were there. You couldn't have your mother backstage, for nothing. What are some of the vast differences between the way they run the back now between the way they ran the back then?
Well, I mean, now it's back then, I mean, we all knew it was a work, and they let the people know it was a work, but they still kept everything pretty tight, pretty private. You know what I mean? Family members, if they came to the shows, they had a certain area in the arena where they could stay and hang out. They didn't come in the back. But ever since the Attitude Era, that whole thing has changed. So we're talking about a new time and a new era. And you have stockholders, that request tickets and request family members, to be able to come and see the goings on and the happenings. And what do? You tell them no? You can't, because a stockholder is an owner. If you own stock in that company, depending on how much it is, you are still an owner. So as an owner, you kind of got more you kind of got a little bit more freedom when it comes to getting in events and getting in the back and stuff like that. Because it's your right as an owner to see how things work.
Oh, okay. And this was the other thing I never asked you. What do you think about the whole Total Divas program and situation?
Initially when they first started the program, I watched it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of it, but it just, to me, I think it's a waste of production cost, time, and money. Because it's really not that interesting. The only thing that's gonna make it interesting to the male audience is those females have to really act like the housewives of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
If you want people to really watch that show, those females need to start acting like either the housewives of Atlanta, Georgia, or basketball wives in Florida. Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife and her buddies in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to have those type mentalities, man. You got to have some serious drama. They don't have no serious. They might have a little drama, but they don't have no serious drama. Not enough drama to make you just want to tune in every week, and they just don't.
Now, this is what I noticed, and Mimi and Felix, I want to ask y'all the same question about the divas because I want to know what everybody thinks. But what I notice is when the divas come out, there's not one diva real star. I mean, they're not popping for none of them divas like they are for the male guys on the roster. What are they doing wrong, and what do they have to do in order to either raise their level of interest, raise their level of pops, be a relevant part of the program, or just scrap the whole thing altogether?
Honestly, they got to stop. The diva stuff has got to stop being about skin. It's got to be about just 100% pure wrestling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I
agree.
Don't put the divas out there in 6-mans and 8-man tags and just have them. If a woman can't go. If a diva can't go like the chick with the red hair, what's her name?
Alicia Fox.
No, the new chick with the
new chick,
Eva Marie.
Eva Marie. Okay, she can't wrestle, so don't put her in a position where she's just gonna look bad. If she's gonna be on Total Divas, that's fine. Keep her on Total Divas. Send her back to Florida and let her learn some more. But people like Alicia Fox that can wrestle, they need to wrestle. People like Natalia that can wrestle, they need to wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
They need to wrestle. Go back to the days of Alundra Blaze and Bertha Faye and the Fabulous Moon. Make them women wrestle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you want to have some divas on the side that all they do is show skin and do photo layout, have them separate from the girls that wrestle. You know what I mean? Have them separate from the women's division.
When I watched the first season of Total Divas, it drove me bananas because the way they're portrayed or the way
their attitude was. Their attitude seemed to have been that they were the stars of the whole thing, that they weren't there with the guys were there with them. And their attitude just drove me bananas. And it spoke to a lot where at WrestleMania, I want to say 29, the Divas match got scrubbed and canceled. And I'm like, they didn't go over the time. They doing that to show you girls a lesson that this is not about y'all. Nobody's going to get up and walk away or want their money back if a diva does not come out on the card. All right, so Mimi, what's your opinion? You watch Total Divas. What do you think about the whole diva division?
Well, when Mo was talking, I was like, oh, that makes me sad, but it's the truth as far as the level of drama, because I watch it and I enjoy it. But when it does get to that point where it's like the rest of the reality shows, I'm not going to be interested. But that's just me. But, like, I agree with what Mo said. To draw people to watch it, that's what's going to have to happen. As far as them in ring, it's just not interesting. And like you guys, you mentioned one of my favorites, Natalya. When she wrestles, then I'll watch the match. But other than that, it's really a lot of the times when the divas come out, their match is not really that interesting. There's a lot of hair pulling and screaming.
It's just they use them now just as a filler, just to fill up some time. Not they're not trying to draw any serious interest or because honestly the fans could care less about seeing those guys in the ring.
Yeah.
Put them in the magazine. Look.
Yep.
You know what?
WWE.
You know why Sonny was so popular? Number one, she was the only diva. Number two, you didn't see her in the ring every week or every other week, half-ass naked trying to wrestle. So nobody could say, oh, she sucks or nothing like that. When you saw Sonny, you saw her doing something fabulous.
Right.
You know what I mean? You saw her doing something, be it a photo shoot at the beach in a nice bikini or coming out to the ring with the LOD in a fabulous outfit. But you didn't see her out there doing non-sequential bullshit. You didn't see her in a position where people say, oh, that sucks. She's horrible. They never put her in a position where somebody could say she's horrible. That's horrible. And that's why she was so over. And I'm gonna tell you somebody else that was over. She wasn't a great wrestler, but when they put her into something, it was something fabulous or it was something real raunchy, and she would do it. The Cat, Jerry Lawler's wife, ex-wife, Miss Kitty the Cat, Stacey Carter,
right,
fabulous. Marlena, fabulous. They didn't have them out there doing dumb stuff. When you saw those ladies, it was sexy, it was classy. When you saw them, your mouth would drop because they'd have them in that kind of position. You'd want to see them on the show, not want to see them on the show in the ring wrestling. You'd want to see them doing something on the show, something as simple as the whole Marlena thing with Val Venus, under the covers, that kind of stuff. You don't have a chance to say, oh, that sucks. Now when you see a diva coming, especially if they talk about putting them in the match, you're like, I'm changing the channels. I'm going to channel surf until this is over with. I can't sit through it. I can't stomach this. And I guarantee every time a Divas match comes on, the ratings for that time period drops.
Okay, Felix, Paige is the Divas champion. Where they going with it and why?
Well, we've kind of all hit on a really good topic, I think, with the Divas show. I think with the oversaturation of reality shows, it really kind of does an overkill. I mean, it gives the fans an insight, and that's cool and all. It's a good idea, like Mo was saying, but putting somebody who had maybe about a few months experience on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania, when she is really, I mean, you have women and men both have to work years and years and years to even get on the card for WrestleMania, and she's handed that and can't wrestle to save her life, you know, and then you got all these women that are more concerned with their looks than their wrestling ability when they had women who had wrestling ability. To give you an example, like Mo was saying, like, you know, Sunny knew her place. She knew she wasn't going to be a wrestler. You weren't going to have her get in there and mix it up with the women who could wrestle. But you look at a woman like Molly Holly, Nora Greenwald. You know, she's beautiful, but you know what? She wasn't beautiful enough, I guess, to their standards, because she could also wrestle. She went out there really dressed in stupid clothes, but she was super talented.
But okay, let me touch on that real quick so you'll have an understanding. I don't know if you know why. But with Molly was a Christian girl. So no amount of money was going to make her change her dress. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She was very talented. She could wrestle, but she was a Christian first, and that's why you didn't see her in skimpy and revealing stuff like everybody else. That's why she on her way. You know, she could wrestle and she could be sexy, but because of her beliefs, she wouldn't do it, and money wasn't going to make her do it. I mean, think about it. Did you ever see her get raunchy like that in WCW? No. It was the other girls that was macho, and you know, when she was the macho queen, she wore the crown and the dress. She let the other girl get raunchy.
Right.
You know what I mean? As far as the whole Paige thing, I think with the Paige thing goes back to the thing with the 1, 2, 3 kid in the beginning.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think a lot of the girls had egos that need to be put in check. Number one.
There you go.
Number two, everybody knew that. What was the girl that they took the bed off of?
AJ Lee. AJ was leaving for a while, so they knew that. They knew she was leaving. They wanted somebody to put it on, and not put it on the divas that the top divas, to put them back in check.
Right.
Sometimes they got to have a reality check, and that's exactly what's happened.
That's exactly the way I saw it.
Well, see, here's the thing too,
that's how they straighten us out.
Paige comes from a wrestling background. Her mother and father are both wrestlers and are successful at it as well. They actually run their own organization out in England as well. Sweet Saraya Knight and Ricky Knight, both very talented.
Right.
So, I mean, wrestling is in her blood. Where they're going to put her at this point, it's still tough to say. But I mean, she's still young. I think she can definitely go far.
It's all about attitude, man.
Oh yeah.
It's all about attitude. When you start thinking that you're bigger than the company.
Oh yeah.
You know, sometimes you just have to either shut up or put up. I think in CM Punk's case, he put up. He walked out.
Right. But CM Punk was like the biggest thing in the company.
He was the second biggest thing in the company. When he walked out, he was the second biggest thing in the company. He wasn't the biggest thing in the company. Look, I mean, we got to call a spade a spade. We got to tell the truth. Yeah. The biggest thing in WWE right now is John Cena. Period, point blank. Yeah, Daniel Bryan is big, but when we start talking about who's making the company more money than anybody on the roster, it's John Cena.
Okay.
Period. It's John Cena. And if John Cena's not whining and pounding talking about going home, then Vince McMahon's not gonna care if CM Punk gets a frog up his butt and go home. Okay, I've made you millions. You don't like what's going on? Take your $1 million and go home. It's okay. It's okay, because trust me, they are building another CM Punk. They're building another, up until he got hurt, Daniel Bryan would have fell right into that spot, if not more. Think about it. For the last prior to I guess WrestleMania, was it WrestleMania he won the title?
Yep.
Daniel Bryan?
Okay. Prior to WrestleMania, every Monday Night Raw for about 2 months, Daniel Bryan worked 3 or 4 matches every Monday Night Raw.
Right.
Yeah.
He was a workhorse, man. And we're not talking about 5-minute matches. We're talking about 10, 12, 15, 20-minute matches, 3 or 4 matches a night. You know, and when you got one person doing that much work, you know, filling up that much time on a TV program, you could care less what somebody like a CM Punk's got to say.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
You know, I'm not taking anything from the guy. You know, he's talented or whatever. But if I saw him on the street, there's nothing about him intimidating enough to make me think he could kick my ass. You know?
Okay, so all right. Question for
look,
Mimi.
Bottom line is, his claim to fame, he can work. Don't get me wrong, he can work. But CM Punk's claim to fame started and began the night he sat out on that stage with that microphone and they let him talk.
Yeah.
That's where he captured, the minds and hearts of everybody, because they thought, man, he just went out there and shot on the company, and they can't do nothing about it. I realized that, you know, Kevin Dunn standing right there with his finger on the button. Anytime he want to shut him up, he can shut him up. He didn't say nothing that they didn't let him say.
Right.
That would be like when Jeff Jarrett came back the second time after walking out at a pay-per-view in Nashville, Tennessee. Come back the second time, gets on the mic and talk about Vince McMahon. I walked out on you because I didn't like what was going on, and you paid me more money this time to come back than you paid me the first time when I was here. He didn't say that and get away with that because they let him say that. CM Punk said what he said because they let him say what he wanted to say. They let him say it, you know, and the thing about it is wrestling fans are cynical, but they need to realize that nothing happens on TV that's not at some point in some way scripted, period.
Yep.
Period. You know, unless somebody hits their head and gets knocked out and gets pinned by accident at WrestleMania or something.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay. That being said, John Cena's the face of the company now. Mimi, who's the next big breakout star? Who's the future face?
I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No. Unfortunately, the way things look, it looks like they're going with the person that, Bray Wyatt. They kind of, he just seemed to be kind of unstoppable, and who knows?
Next big breakout star.
Roman Reigns.
It's a toss-up. There you go. It's a toss-up between Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt.
I would love to see Roman Reigns get it over Bray Wyatt, but like I said, who knows? I definitely think that Roman Reigns is the next breakout star, but I don't know if he's going to get the title.
Okay, now Felix and Mo, check this out. Going back to the releases. Anybody got released that shouldn't have gotten released, and is there anybody on the roster now that should go that hasn't gone yet? And I can think of a few people that should be going.
I'll let you go first.
I agree.
Anybody that got a release that shouldn't have got a release.
Yeah, that shouldn't have got released.
I think everybody got released. You know what? For all intents and purposes, this is just for all intents and purposes. It ain't got nothing to do with their talent or their ability. But if you don't have a place for somebody, let them go where they can go and make some money somewhere else, do something different, and then bring them back fresh as another character. Don't keep them around in obscurity, you know what I mean, and make the people hate them.
True.
You know what I mean? Because you're not doing anything with them but dogging them week in and week out. You know, I think that for Ziggler to still be there, I think for Zack Ryder to still be there.
Best say Zack Ryder. Yeah.
And it's not even about talent. What I'm saying is, I think if you're going to keep those guys around and keep treating them the way that you are, you better off letting them go.
Oh, I honestly think that when it comes down to Ziggler, they are just totally missing the boat. I mean, he's got a great character. He works really, really decent. I mean, I really think that they just wasted it with him.
Yeah. Okay. What are they going to do with
it?
It
goes back to what Mo was saying, though. I think he might have pissed somebody off with his mouth, his ego. So.
Right. Ziggler's got a lot of talent. He was good. He was good with Vicky Guerrero. You take Vicky away from that picture, there was nothing interesting in him. I mean, because really, when you look at him, he's just a smaller Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a smaller Billy Gunn, and we're in the age where we want to say we need to get 3-4 million people watching that TV show every week. We need you to be selling in upwards of $1 million worth of merchandise a month. And his character won't do that, even as the world champion. Some people, regardless of how much talent they got, to get over even more, because this is about merchandising, man. I don't care what nobody says. It's about merchandising. They don't. Their money is not coming from house shows, man. That's not where their money's coming from. It's coming from merchandising. It's coming from television revenue. And if you can't draw those numbers, they're not going to put you on top. And John Cena does so much, man. John Cena's going to stay on top. You know why? Because Vince McMahon can call John Cena at 4:30 in the morning. He can be knee deep in some butt, and he gonna get out of bed and go do whatever Vince wants him to do. Leave his wife for whatever. He's gonna go do what Vince wants him to do, and that's why he's in the spot that he's in. Everybody else is gonna complain about it. Vince, I promised my wife I'd take her and the kids on vacation this week. No, John Cena be like, hold on, Vince. He go to his wife and say, Vince, just call me. I got to go do this thing. His wife said, John, but John's going to be like, I got to go do this thing, babe. I'll see you in a couple of days. And he's going out the door. If that means losing his wife, he's going to do that. And that's why he's on top. He's already proven it, man. He's already proven it.
Now, another point, I'm thinking Dusty Rhodes is turning over in his grave right now, and he's not even dead. And he's turning over in his grave. Stardust and Goldust. Dusty Rhodes must be looking down on this with great pride.
No. Dusty Rhodes loves the Stardust. Because that was him.
I do know that much.
Back in the day, they even named a private plane after him, called the Stardust, when he was working for the Crockett. So, I mean, he's not. I think that gives Cody a little bit more life, man.
I think
it gives him a little bit more life. You don't have to put him in. You don't have to put him, back in any kind of singles competition right now. You can keep him stuck with his brother. Keeps his brother working. So. I mean, I'm not against the Stardust thing. I think it's rather amusing. I think what would be even better if they went ahead and brought Marlena back.
That would have been nice.
That would be very
in that persona that they have, that they put the straps back on them.
I can see one more run with them.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see one more run with them, getting the belts again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would see them. I would see them turn the heel. I would see them turning the heel, and if I was writing it, I'd have them buddy up to the Usos. You know what I mean? I'd have them buddy up to the Usos, and I'd set something up where there's like a 4-corner tag match, and all you got to do is whoever gets pinned becomes a tag champion. And then have them turn on the Usos and win the belt.
Yeah, because I know that you're an expert at turning on people. I mean, I could see how you would appreciate that kind of gimmick, because you do it so well.
I walked into the grocery store last night, turned on my ex-old lady, and dumped the watermelon over her head. So it's no big deal. It's not a big deal.
You really need to be tested for bipolar disorder because there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I just the problem with me is I just forget to take my medication.
Oh, is that what it is? So what you turn on what you turn on about? Yeah. What happened?
I was looking for cantaloupe and I couldn't find it. I got angry and I just decided I saw her and I just hit her with a watermelon. So.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he could appreciate that scenario that he just laid out because he actually lived it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question: do we only talk about WWE on this program, or do we even talk about TNA?
If you got something to say about TNA, you go right ahead.
I really don't know.
You might be talking to Felix. Felix might watch it. As far as I'm concerned, you're talking by yourself because I don't know what they're doing and nothing. But go ahead, TNA, what happened?
Felix, did you watch TNA?
I actually did watch their pay-per-view this past weekend with the Von Erichs returning to the ring, and Kevin Von Erich actually getting involved in the match and using the infamous claw.
How was the reaction?
You know what? When Kevin got in there, I think the place just about come unglued. I mean, you could literally feel the roof coming off the joint there. It was awesome.
Right.
I think with their momentum that they had from that pay-per-view, if they could keep that momentum going, because they're already looking to go back to the six-sided ring once again, possibly, they could definitely start to stand out again from being an alternate to WWE. Instead of trying to be like them, as Jim Ross would say, stand out and be the alternate. I think that they're going in that right direction. I think they could be.
Right. So, in essence, you're saying that it was a bad mistake bringing Hogan in and changing their original format.
Not necessarily. It wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but they were so limited on what they could do. As far as, Hogan, I mean, he's a presence, but at the same time, they had to answer to somebody as opposed to being in WCW where they answered to nobody. But at this point, with the company, they took away the six-sided ring, put it as a four. They wanted to compete with Vince, and
right.
So is TNA on the road to becoming the next WCW? Are they getting that big? Are they on their way? It's going to take a while if they are, but are they on the road?
No. At this point, Ted Turner had the deep pockets for WCW. Dixie Carter and the Carter family and Panda Energy, they have money, but right now they've been kind of off and on with their money problems. The thing that they have right now that's best for them is their television. They're on TV. They're being seen more than, let's just say, Ring of Honor. Let's just say all the other independent shows. They're being seen more, and they're taking advantage of it. I like to think that they are anyway.
Right. I think what they need, though, honestly, I think that they need to get some of the boys. Yeah. When I say boys, some of the workers that's got a lot of influence over the TV. I think they need to just, say, look, you're a talent, and that's all you are.
Well,
we do the script. Yeah.
Let me ask you a real quick question, going off the subject just for a moment with TNA. With Jeff Jarrett's new wrestling organization coming together little by little, I could see Jeff, because Jeff being a promoter, as it's in his blood, and knowing what people like to see, if he were to reach out to you, or even possibly Oscar for that matter, and you never know because nowadays you don't know, to come in and work with the young guys about how to get over on television, how to the psychology of it, the ring psychology, just getting out there and wrestling.
Right.
Would you guys be opposed to ever really taking Jeff up on that deal and maybe coming over and talking to the young guys he's recruiting?
Look, if Vince did it, if TNA did it, if Jeff Jarrett did it, if Ring of Honor did it, I would say sure. I wouldn't hesitate. I would jump right in there because, man, just a lot of it is. Here's my thing. I'm not knocking anybody. Yeah, hell I am. I'm just not gonna say no names of who I'm knocking. Here's the thing, the difference between me and other veterans, some other veterans, is I've had my run, I've had my time, you know what I mean? I can make just as much of an impact helping the next kid, you know what I mean, instead of trying to hold them back. You know, and there's a lot of veterans out there, man, that don't want to help out young guys, man. It's like me and Nelson, for example, when we went up to WWE the first time, man, there was not one veteran there, with the exception of maybe Strongbow, that actually tried to tell us and teach us stuff. The other veterans there, you know, like the guerrillas or whatever, yeah, they were agents, but the only thing they would do is, you know, here's your finish. Go do this. You know, they didn't spend time saying, okay, guys, you know, this is the way you act in the dressing room. This is the way your facial expressions need to be on TV. When you work TV, you need to work towards the hard camera, not away from the hard camera. When you walk out to the ring, the first thing you should do once you step into the ring is find the hard camera. Once you find that hard camera, work towards that. We didn't have one veteran in that locker room, in that company, that grabbed us by the hand and said, hey, guys, let me teach you something. Let me, you know, and that's probably, you know, 90% of what the problem is with TNA and some of the problem with WWE. Instead of throwing young guys to the wolves where they get heat like a Sandow or like a Ziggler, you know, one of you older guys, you know, grab one of them guys by the hand and say, look, okay, the first thing you got to do around here, whether you like something or you don't like it, you know what I mean? You never let anybody know that. You keep that in check. If you don't like what you get paid, if you don't like what they ask you to do in the ring, if you don't like the angles that you're in, you keep that in check. You don't never let anybody know anything about it. You don't say anything to anybody. That's very important for a young guy going in, man. They need to know that stuff. Otherwise,
I have had my fill of being on TV, of the fame, and all of the kind of thing like that. So I'm in 1,000% agreement with Mo. It would be an honor, and I think it would be my calling, and I think that it would be a privilege and an honor, you know, an honor for me to be able to be in a role where I could be a person that can instruct some of these younger guys in these promotions on the way to go, based on my own experience, based on, you know, whatever little bit of intelligence and common sense that I have that I can impart to the new generation of guys coming out on how they can get over, on what to do, what not to do, what to say, what not to say, you know, the psychology of how to deal with the psychology of the company, because it's all psychological, how the company deal with you and how you in turn should deal with the company. And do I think I can teach that and mentor that and instill that in some of these younger guys? Hell yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I would do it. I'd jump right on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would jump on that faster than if they asked me to be on Legends House or asked me to do, you know, something back on camera, anything like that. I wouldn't be so quick to grab that opportunity as I would what you just asked about, Felix. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you're both able to give input on that question, but because I know a lot of the older stars like to their role now, they see themselves better as giving. That's their way of giving back, and I think that you guys definitely fit really good into that role.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of people that want to relive the glory days, and a lot of people that just can't let go of, you know, what they once was, and not just in wrestling, in all things. I mean, because it's a great piece of history in your life to be able to say that I did this, that, and the other, and, you know, the feeling that you had when somebody came for your autograph or to see yourself on TV and all that. And I get that. I mean, it is a great thing. And when it's over, it's like when it's over, you spend a lot of time, and I do mean a lot of time, coming down off of it. When you're not on TV no more, when you're not, you know, doing that, especially with the money, they're not making that money no more. But you're not traveling no more. You're used to
packing your bag and going here, there, everywhere, and all that. I mean, it's like being a crack addict, and they take all your crack away, and you got to come down off that high, quickly, and whatever was getting you high, just not around no more. It is a really hard adjustment, and that's how you get a lot of people that fall into depression, they fall into suicide, they fall into a whole bunch of different negative things because, it is hard to be at one status one day and find yourself in obscurity the next. But now that I've been away from it for so long, I don't have that passion or anything like that, but I still love the business, hence this show. And before we go, I have a very important to ask everybody on the show, Mimi, Felix, and Mo, and the question is this. We're going to switch gears right now because I want to do this before we run out of time. As far as this show goes, what is it that we all can do to make the show all that it can be in order to get sponsors, stay on the air, and make MOM Radio the best thing it can be? And Felix, you're running a show right now. You've been doing this for a while, so I'm going to let you go first. What are we not doing? What can we do? And what should we do moving forward?
I actually like the concept of what Mimi's been doing. I like that she's included the sponsor. She's also doing the report. That aspect is very, very well done. She prepares. You can tell she prepares for it. So far, with that inclusion, I think it's definitely a benefit than anything that would hurt us. Getting sponsors, if we could possibly include that into the show like she has, like if we were to do, let's just throw an example out there. If she was doing the WWE report, say maybe I would be doing the TNA report or Ring of Honor, and it's brought to you by so-and-so company, like she's doing. That idea actually could work.
Okay.
Right.
For that matter, just like Steve Austin did, or even Jim Ross, they record themselves while they're on air and use those bits as commercials. As we go to commercial, you hear Mo talking about, I don't know, going to a car wash or some foot place. I don't know, just an idea you can use as a commercial thing to promote. You know what I mean?
Good. Yeah, I think also this is just my idea. I think every radio show out there right now focuses more on bringing in, top name superstars or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, you could also build an audience and a cult following if you, like Lance, for example. A lot of wrestling fans don't know him. A lot of wrestling fans, if they listen to this, they be like, oh, really? So now they might start following him a little bit more, knowing that he's from that great Samoan family. You know what I mean? Like having the video on next week, everybody's heard what Brett's had to say. Everybody's heard what Honky Tonks had to say. Everybody, you know what I mean? Let's reach out to, people like Adam Pearce. Get him on the radio. Guys that's not on the level of a Bret Hart or a Shawn Michaels. That's not to say that people are not interested in it. Not to mention, those guys have a lot of people that follow them too, as well. Those guys have a cult following. So there's a lot of guys out there. When you're thinking about who's gonna be your guest next week, be looking for somebody that very few people have had, but has. If you look at Q-Ball Carmichael, dude, he's got 5,000 people on his friends list alone that message him every day and want to know something about wrestling. He's got his own private group on Facebook with over 1,000 members, and they're talking about wrestling and stuff all day, every day. The guy is like a guru of professional wrestling. Seriously. It's people like that, man, that, the show should focus on, and then every now and then throw in a bigger name superstar, but try to focus on introducing the wrestling fans to some people that they ain't seen on mainstream TV and get them following those people. And then when they come back, guarantee you'll have 2-3 times the audience because You know, they have that many people follow them, and those people want to hear what the fans and wrestlers alike, especially with Q-Ball Carmichael. All the young guys are messaging him 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, wanting to know what they need to do to fix their character, you know, all kinds of stuff. So don't have just a superstar format is what I'm saying. You know, try to introduce the world to some of the newer guys, younger guys, up and coming that nobody might not know a whole lot about. And then some people
I have a question, not to sound like a jackass or anything like that, because you're deeper into this stuff than I am. But who the hell is Q-Ball Carmichael?
See, you know what? That is like the dumbest damn thing you could have said on a radio program.
I don't know who he is.
Exactly. You saying that on a radio program is like me saying who the hell is Luthez.
No, okay, good. Well, I don't know. Okay, I barely know who Luthez is. I've heard the name. I know he's a legend.
And that in itself is again the dumbest thing you can say on a radio program that focuses on wrestling.
I am not gonna pretend that I'm a damn scholar of nothing and I don't know. That's why I got you here. I'm asking you.
Okay, dumbass, while we're on the radio, a question like that is one that you would ask off the air, dummy.
No, that's what I ask on the air, because picture me as a fan, and you shaking your head. You know what? I get tired of you agreeing with this jerk, okay? You agree with Mo every week, everything he say, but you live with me. You supposed to agree with me whether I'm right or wrong, Mimi.
Look, you run a radio program, you're going to bring in stars, and you're going to ask who Q-Ball Carmichael is on the radio program. You know, there's a lot of people out there that's listening to your radio program that will jump through hoops to hear from Q-Ball Carmichael. And you're asking who is Q-Ball Carmichael? You know what they're saying about you right now? He's such an asshole.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this is what you do. You get Q-Ball Carmichael on the phone. You get him on the show, and I'm gonna ask him, "Who the hell are you, Who the hell are you?"
See, it's okay. We cut up and we joke, and we have fun. Okay, I understand. I agree that the show is supposed to be fun.
God.
But this part right here is serious. That is not something for somebody to play with in the wrestling business.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just telling you. Look him up. That's all I can tell you.
I've already added him to my Facebook, so
I'm gonna do just that.
I'm telling you, he's a wrestling guru, dude.
He's a wrestling what?
He's a wrestling guru. Dude, he was trained by Luther. He was trained by Luthez. He was trained by Tom Brandy. He was trained by some of the biggest guys in the business, man. He's worked some of the biggest names in the business. He knows wrestling. He knows wrestling inside out, with his eyes closed, hands tied behind his back. He does.
That's what we need around here.
But he's not somebody that you say openly out loud in public, in present company, who the hell is Q-Ball Carmichael? That's so wrong on so many different levels is what I'm saying.
Okay, I understand why you would say it's wrong, but here's my point. And you can look at me funny all you want to, Dreamy. If I don't know who somebody is, I'm not going to pretend like I know if I don't know.
You don't have to pretend. That's the point. You don't have to pretend to know him. If I say, man, we need to get Q-Ball Carmichael on the show, your response should be, all right, man, let's do it. Not, who the hell is Q-Ball Carmichael? No. That's what I'm saying, you knucklehead.
No, don't say it under your breath. Go ahead and agree with him out loud so we all know where you stand.
Yeah, right.
Hey, now you're bordering on being abusive.
What?
Because you're being abusive, man, because you ain't right for once.
I'm being abusive?
It's okay. Yeah. Don't get mad at her because she agrees with somebody. She agree with you. She agree with you. If you really want to know the truth, she's always agreeing with you. So don't get mad. Don't get mad. You'll be sleeping on the couch tonight.
He get mad because he thinks he get mad because he always think he right about stuff. That's all. He'll be all right.
All I'm saying, Oscar, is certain questions don't need to be asked openly out loud on the radio, man.
You know, you've been you know what? You've been telling me that. You've been telling me that in person. You've been saying that to me forever and a day for years.
And you still ain't listening.
Oscar, you don't need to ask and you don't need to say.
And you still ain't listening.
No, but okay. I'm going to swallow this one.
22 years later, you still ain't listening.
The dumbest question is the one you never asked.
Yeah, okay.
He didn't say don't ask the question. He said don't ask it on the air.
Right. Can somebody tell me who the hell is Obama?
Q-Ball Carmichael's up there with Obama?
Yeah, Obama.
Obama?
Yeah.
Is he a wrestler?
Barack Hussein Obama. Who the hell is that?
The wrestler or the president?
You know how dumb
there might be another one.
You see how dumb that sounds? and for wrestling fans, for you to say, who the hell is Q-Ball Carmichael? That's dumb, bruh.
Okay, again, I'm going to tell you that if I don't know something, I am not going to pretend to know something that I don't know.
You. I love you. I don't want you to pretend anything.
You know what? I promised my wife I'll stop cussing, so I'm not going to say what I want to say, but you get the picture.
Mimi.
Yes.
I love your husband. He needs to learn to be a pretender. Don't he realize this? Don't he not realize this business is a work? It's all pretend, dummy.
Yeah, you didn't pretend when you just chastised me for 15 minutes in front of everybody. Just spanked my ass in front of the whole thing, and she's standing by shaking her head, holding the damn belt while you're doing it.
She's telling me to hit you again.
See, yeah. But you love
Oscar,
me. Yeah.
Oscar, I actually do want to bring up. Do we know who's going to be on next week?
Yeah, Mo knows who's going to be on next week. Q-Ball Carmichael. No, who's going to be on next week?
Next week is DeVito from the Baldies, an ECW original. Tony DeVito
from the Baldies, WCW original. Do we have Adam Bomb, Brian Clark scheduled in the future?
Working on that.
I actually was seeing that I thought we had him scheduled for next week.
Who's that?
I could be wrong. But
I thought so too. I thought we had Brian Clark for next week.
I believe we had him still scheduled, and if something's changed, we can change. We can work around the schedule too.
We definitely got DeVito for next week. We'll let you know this week if Brian Clark's going to show up. But we do know the following week, our big 4th of July show, we're going to have the Headbangers. We got them confirmed. And we got a lot of great talent coming up for the summer of 2014. It's gonna be a blast around here.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna know who everybody is that graces our doors when they get on this show. We're gonna know who everybody is. We're gonna know their history.
Can I get an amen?
We're gonna know their legacy. We're gonna know everything about them. Ain't that right, Mimi?
Amen and a hallelujah.
Right.
All right, Oscar. Before we go off the air, you got to do your gospel challenge.
My what?
Gospel challenge.
What's my gospel challenge?
You got to sing a song, gospel song going off the air.
A gospel song going off the air.
Yeah, they've got cold water challenges, and then they got a gospel challenge. I don't want to do a cold water challenge. I want to do a gospel challenge. So
you should ask your buddy Mimi. She know every gospel song that was ever written.
No. I'm sure she can sing. I want to hear you sing us off the air.
Why should I be discouraged if I don't know who Q-Ball Carmichael was?
Well, okay.
His eye is on the sparrow, and when I drink, I get a gigantic buzz. Mo is such a big jerk. I know that this show is a work, but God will help us come through it because you're all full of it. There we go, my gospel rendition. Thank you.
Yes, wrap it up.
In
conclusion, okay, what did we learn tonight? We learned that Lance Anoa'i, we want to thank him for being on the show, comes from an amazing family. We learned that Q-Ball Carmichael is one of the greatest wrestling historians and talents out there. We want to hear from him. We learned that Pat Patterson is gay. We learned that the Divas division should be scrapped. They don't treat Dolph Ziggler right. The Stephanie McMahon should stop throwing up on people. And that Phyllis Almeida runs the best pipe bomb radio network on the air today in the business. And we are all, between our two shows, going to blow Jim Ross, Steve Austin, and everybody else out the order. I want to thank everybody. Mimi, in closing, what do you want to say besides Mo is right all the time?
Good night, everybody.
And Mo, I know you got something to say in closing, you jerk.
As my good friend Russell Simmons would say, thank you, God bless, and good night.
Wait, you got to say it with a lisp.
Oh, thank you, God bless, and good night.
Thank you, God bless you, and good night.
Yeah, man, he lost that lisp when he lost his wife. She took all his money.
Yeah, she took the lisp, too.
Yeah, she took the lisp, too, so shit. Good night.
All right, everybody, good night.
Well, man,